What city disappointed you the most when visiting? Cairo. This was 2009, so some important things have changed, but the country and people were so desperate for tourist dollars that it felt impossible to go anywhere or enjoy anything without feeling like you were being scammed. Also, everywhere smelled like cigarettes, and there was trash all over the streets. I know this is a cliche at this point, but Dubai was just awful for too many reasons to list. You know that massive cockhead who wins the lottery and immediately buys a frozen champagne sculpture of his own scrotum and 2 Filipino slave boys to carry it around? If that person were a city, it would be Dubai. Gary, Indiana? I drove through it to get to Chicago. Didn't even get mugged once. That's my experience and attitude toward Jamaica. The tourist experience was so bad as to make me never want to go back again. An unending horde of locals constantly hounding you for dollars. What are you in the top 0.1% of in the world? I have exploded 3 times, IED, old Soviet landmine, and a rocket strike on my gun truck. I don't think there's a lot of people who can say that, who still possess all of their limbs. Got me beat by 1, IED while in a convoy and the other while on patrol. Buddy at front of me stepped on it. He was our dog handler too. Thankfully, all of us survived, including the dog. Survivors of pancreatic cancer. Edit, this blew up more than I expected. My story is on my profile. I counsel people going through this now. Please PM me if you'd like to talk. The best advice I can give is to go to a place that specializes in these types of cancer, like MD Anderson in Houston. There are several in the US. They have the best doctors, the best imaging equipment, access to more clinical trials, etc. I was given 6 months to live in my hometown. 6 years later, after chemo, radiation, and Whipple surgery, I am going strong. My risk of recurrence started dropping at 2 years, and now the risk is less than 10%. Edit 2. People have said they can't find my story on my profile. I found it under my old username. Here's the link I posted at the 4-year mark. 0.1% of people in the world who replied to this thread. I am one of few with adults, something called Harlequin syndrome. It's harmless, literally does nothing beyond making half my face get red and the other half not red. So when I'm really hot and sweaty, one side of my face will look like a tomato, and the other half will look as if I hadn't been hit at all. Completely normal. There's only like 1,000 people in the US who have it. I could only find stats for the US, so I don't know the worldwide numbers, but it's pretty rare. Maybe not 0.1%, but close. Note, I mention adults because it's common in babies for the first week of their life, but it usually goes away. I am one of 5 to 10 people that are on regular call for golf architectural history. That combined with my knowledge of how to build and evaluate golf architecture in the field probably puts me into the 0.1%. I have incurable histamine intolerance. I have to be on a very restrictive diet. I am on all kinds of histamine blockers and still get histamine reactions that make me have to check out of life for at least half a day with no notice. It is so rare, there is no actual treatment plan for it, so it's a try it and see approach. What is the most out-of-touch thing you've ever heard, and how did you respond to it? A potential client talking about their work in an equatorial country. We're just about at the point where we can start charging the locals for water, which is very exciting. I declined the job. That isn't out of touch. That is just evil. A friend worked at the Better Business Bureau. After COVID, the management of her office sent everyone a survey asking everyone if they'd like the option to continue working from home. The management then sent a message saying the results of the survey were in and that 90% of employees said they wanted to keep working from home. The management then sent an announcement that no one could work from home for any reason. They didn't mention why. The head manager of their office then sent everyone a farewell notice that she was moving across the country to be closer to her relatives. But not to worry, because she'd be able to remain their manager by working from home full-time. I was in a local sub shop, waiting for my order. A guy and his, I assume, girlfriend come in and start reading the menu. The cashier asked what they wanted. Yeah, what's a portobello mushroom burger? Oh, well, a portobello is like an extra-large mushroom, roughly the size of a burger patty. So, portobello means mushroom? And your sign says portobello mushroom? Mushroom burger? That's redundant. I won't eat here. She literally stormed out. The cashier, who I was friendly with, just burst out laughing and said to the guy something along the lines of, WTF was that? I don't fucking know, man. She gets like this. I just wanted a damn meatball sub. Then proceeds to sigh and walk out with his girlfriend. I once wanted to gift a friend a gig ticket. She was a young mom at the time, and she didn't have any spare cash to spend on herself or to go out and do anything fun. She was very hesitant to take it, and it was 100% my idea. My other friend who was in her 30s at the time, I think she's manipulating you. I just don't believe she can't afford a ticket. I mean, there's always money. This woman had never lived away from her parents and was from a relatively wealthy background. She also said, people who haven't got money really only have themselves to blame for not managing their finances better. Had to have a chat with her about how not everyone comes from the same background and some people go to bed hungry daily. My coworker, fresh out of school, was really confused why so many people took public transportation to commute into the city. Turns out her parents paid for a personal driver for her, and that's how she got to work and back. Not an Uber, a car service. She had no idea what it cost, probably never thought about it, just figured everyone else preferred the subway bus to having a personal driver. Someone I shared a house with in college, who was either not yet or barely 21, complained about her peer not being educated in wine, that there is no excuse. I asked her what she was up to once. She was flipping through Vogue, and she answered, shopping. So I guess she was rich? Rich. What is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Pound a bottle of Jack, hop in car with girlfriend, drive 100 miles per hour, hit tree, kill girlfriend, breathe through tube for rest of life. Quadriplegic. He was 16 at the time. A woman I worked with got her nursing license and got a job a month later, where I worked. She proceeded to steal a bunch of pills that day and was fired and lost her license. This is from someone who wrote into an advice column, but it has stuck with me, lo these many years. The guy wrote about how he had begged his wife to swing with the couple next door. She was dead set against it, but he pestered her about it for a couple of years, and she finally, reluctantly, agreed. When the time came, the guy was very disappointed to find the neighbor's wife was not as tight as he had anticipated. Meanwhile, his neighbor was giving his wife what looked to be an out-of-body experience. It made him extremely angry and resentful of his wife for enjoying it so much. I think he said something like, I can't even look at her without wanting to punch her in the face. The columnist told him off and advised him to file for divorce. The guy wrote an update stating a few months after the swinging occurred, the neighbors divorced and his wife left him for the guy next door. They married soon after. He felt blindsided and betrayed. He had a full scholarship to a very good university that his family could not have afforded otherwise. He started playing WoW 60 hours a week and got expelled halfway through his second year. Impulsive decision to street race their friends on a country road. Hit a tree and managed to kill everyone in the car. From bad decision to death was less than a minute. I didn't so much see it happen, as I got to comfort the best friend of one of the kids in the aftermath. Mom had an affair and abandoned our family for said affair partner when I was a baby. Thought the grass was greener. Turns out the guy she left for was a raging alcoholic who just never could clean up. Pawned her jewelry for booze after he lost his job, hired escorts, the works. Put my mom through hell. Ended up dying of liver failure, and my mom is alone now. I think the guilt and shame has caught up to her. I'm not angry anymore. She made a mistake, but it has been one of the biggest lessons in my life. My dad has never spoken one bad word of her in my 35 years of life. He's incredible, and I'm thankful every day he raised my brother and I. That guy who ate a slug on a dare, got paralyzed, and then died some years after. What's a decently paying job that requires no degree and almost no human interaction? Truck driving. I'm a high school dropout and make $100K a year. No human interaction at all. Occasional interaction with a deer. Just to clarify, there are a lot of bad truck companies out there. You still have to do your homework and find a good company. The downside is y'all are worked to death. My father is a truck driver, makes 80 to 90K a year. I'd say he averages around 45 hours a week, which isn't too bad. He hauls fuel and is home 5 nights a week. This is in South Dakota as well, so lower pay than elsewhere. School custodian. I make $55 a year, not the best pay, not the worst. I clean the school alone while I listen to podcasts. It's not a bad gig. 5 weeks vacation, sick days. I work 4 to 10s in the summer. Great pension and benefits. I'm off weekends and holidays. People saying programmers, IT, who have clearly never worked in the industry. Mail care USPS. They don't even drug test anymore. It's a federal union job with a pension. The pay is okay-ish at the moment with our contract and negotiation. It won't be astronomical, but I have faith it will be more reasonable than a lot of doomsayers. I did the college track and got a 4-year degree. I made good money, but was never happy. I started as a carrier the same month I turned 40. I get paid to walk, and honestly, have never been happier. I'm an introvert, and simply don't involve myself in office drama, and I rarely have interaction with people while I am out delivering, maybe 30 seconds at most, and even I can keep a pleasant demeanor for such interactions. Petroleum landmen. Travel to some godforsaken places, but the money is great, and you have very little human interaction. I worked on a project once in New Mexico for 2 years and spoke to one person 3 times on the phone, no face-to-face interactions. The rest of my communication was viz text or email. Well, that's another episode of Ask Reddit in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.